Welcome to the Love Government. I'm Dennis Leary. We're doing a series called Sex Cards. We are now on the 41st card in the total series of 52, which is displayed here in the card layout. The card is called Purple. It's in the suit of light, which is this suit in the game, or the structure. It's the second from the top, the sixth from the bottom. We call it the Six of Light in the Love Government game. It is called, as I said, purple. The purple color is the highest color in the visible spectrum. Purple is associated with nobility. In the old days, people who were nobles or kings or queens were allowed to wear the purple color, and other people were forbidden. It was a very special color because it was a high frequency. And as we go on this journey through this house of love, a house of consciousness, the frequencies do get higher. They get more subtle, they get more rarefied. As you get to the top of the structure, as opposed to the bottom, where the frequencies are more evident or more material. So we are now at the purple stage. All of these cards have two sides, as our life does. There's two sides to us, two sides to our body, and then there's a whole middle part, which is the third element, without which our two sides could not exist. The two sides of the card are called Flower and Tower. Flower and Tower, they play off of each other poetically and in the meaning of it. The flower is the positive side, and the tower would be the negative side, as we interpret it in the Love Government way of doing things. These are not bad, they're just like poles on a battery. You have the negative and a positive pole, and you have a ground in the middle. The flower is the positive, and the tower is the negative, because we interpret the tower here as a patriarchal symbol. The main symbol is a tower. It's a phallic symbol. It stands for the man's penis. It stands for masculinity, as a man would present it. Man is linear. He likes to build towers, and it has a negative component because this type of a tower, coming from the Middle Age pageantry here, was built for defense against your enemies. If you go in Europe, you see all kinds of towers, castles, walls, because they were in a state of war. War is a part of the patriarchal program. It's purposely started and propagated. There's a lot of advantages to war in the patriarchal way of grasping things. There's all kinds of ways that we describe war. Not necessarily military war. There's a war using the money. There's a war on the environment. There's a war of men against women and women against men. We now speak of the war of the sexes. It's a big Gordian knot to try to unravel that problem, but it can be done if we do critical thinking. Critical thinking is in the middle, in between clitoral thinking and clinical thinking. So we can see, but it takes discipline and it takes persistence, as we're doing in the Love Government game. We're now persisting up to the 41st card, which is the Tower. Now if you look closely at the Tower and Flower card called Purple, I'm going to pick this one up, and you can look at the one that's shown on the camera. You see a high tower being struck by lightning, and the two people are flying out of the tower. One is a king who has already lost his crown. You see the crown up at the top there. And the other is a queen. Apparently she still has her crown on, but both of them are flung out of the tower by the power of the lightning. The lightning is light. It's a very powerful light force in the sky. When lightning strikes, it can burn things up, start forest fires, or in this case, if it hits a high castle, it could destroy the castle. If the castle or the tower stands for patriarchy, what's the message? The message is that patriarchy system is not sustainable. It's going to get hit by lightning sooner or later. Every patriarchal civilization, which is almost all of them that we know about, has imploded or been struck by lightning because they simply imploded. And the lightning is the more positive force. The lightning is the force of light. And that is so much greater than these unsustainable towers. So unless we correct our way of proceeding in our culture, we will go the way of this type of tower. We will be destroyed one way or another. We can be destroyed in a quick way if a meteor would hit us, or we could be destroyed if a nuclear bomb went off, and we'd have a nuclear winter. And we can be destroyed in a slow way, which is the way we're going now, where the world is destroyed by inches. Little bit at a time, little bit at a time. Laws are being put in place now which destroy our freedom and implement a stronger and stronger militarization of the society, so that the society may turn into one big prison camp, one big concentration camp. That is the symbol here of this kind of a pyramid, which is up at the chest. It's a spade type of pyramid, and it's hidden usually by a euphemized heart, a fancy, romantic, sentimental heart, so you don't see the real picture. But this is in the cards. If we don't do something, we will be destroyed. And even if it's destroyed by a meteor, that doesn't necessarily exclude our responsibility for that meteor hitting us, because everything is connected in a love system. So the way we act and feel and think influences what happens to us in nature. We're connected with nature. Sometimes it's conjectured that some of these natural disasters are actually, if we knew the full story behind it, are actually man-made or man-influenced. Now there it's hazy and speculative because we can't get the true information. It's all hidden, classified as, ultra-secret information, which should be available to the public, but isn't in a secretive patriarchal society. So we hear about chemtrails, and we hear about purposely poisoning people, purposely causing disease. And we know that certain actions like assassinations are happening all the time, but they're all hidden, covered up. And I know, I'm absolutely certain, as certain as you can possibly be, that 9/11 was an inside job pulled off by the elites, and yet it's a big lie in terms of the public awareness, and so we all buy into that lie. But because I've researched that area, and it's evident to me. But if I researched all the other areas, you would find out that we are having problems that are going to reasonably, logically end up in a tower that's been brought down, like the Tower of Babel in the Bible. It's a story, it's a myth, but it shows that if we don't get around and speak a love language, we will be separated, isolated. That's happening. So love government is going to bring it all together under the rule of love, or the governing thing of love. And then flower. We become a flower. The flowers will last much longer than the towers. The flowers may even survive a nuclear holocaust or getting hit by a meteor. The flowers are gentle, beautiful, but they're adaptive and they are sustainable. The flower is a symbol of the woman's sexuality, like the paintings of Georgia O'Keeffe. The flower is a picture of the vulva, of the woman, which is the sexual center. The center of everything is the dancing figure of the woman, we call the lover in the love government, because that's the center of the culture. And the center of her body is her sexuality, not just because she brings forth new life through the babies, but because of her sexual practices, she invigorates and energizes the culture. If the sexual practices are done in the spirit of love and not something else like money, porn, hedonism, all the other things that go on in the name of sexuality, especially power over. It's the war of the sexes where one sex powers over the other one like this, or powers them up, puts them up on top of the pedestal where they become terrorized of falling off. That's this type of pyramid system. Same thing as saying a pedestal. You put the people up on the top of that pedestal and you got them controlled. Where are they going to go? Get them up on the top of the pyramid, where are they going to go? They're terrified of slipping down off that pyramid. That's why this pyramid model is really evil. It's patriarchal, it's unsustainable, it's bad. How else can you say it? There is a place for it, but it's a small pyramid that rests on top of the big pyramid, which is this, the pubic hair sign of the woman, pointing down to her vulva, pointing down to the center of the earth, 4,000 miles deep. And then you have on the top, if this was the woman's sign, the top is very slightly bent, over 4,000 miles, you'd have a little bit of a bent like the earth. But there's no pyramid to climb up on top. You can't even tell when you're at the highest point. If you were on the left or the right of that top, well, you couldn't tell. So it's kind of like everybody is more or less equal. Not absolutely equal, because somebody might be a little bit, one silly little millimeter higher than the other. So you can make a big deal out of that and claim that, hey, I'm on the highest. No, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. So this is why we talk about this pyramid that's resting in the center. That's a huge pyramid. And then there's all these little phallic pyramids are sitting on top of that. The love government presents the big picture, the deep picture, the broad picture. It's not a panacea, it's panorama. You get a panoramic view, up, down, and if you can get that view, if you can get a hold and understand the grand story, the big story, the mega narrative, then everything falls into place and you're on secure ground. So, if you're going to make a choice in life, you have a choice between being a flower or a tower. And up to me, I'd rather be a flower than a tower. Although towers are fun. They're fun, and there's a place for them. But we have to get a perspective on the whole picture. Love government presents the perspective of love. Two eyes looking with perspective. You have vision out the side of your eyes, but you're looking also down the middle. And down the middle is love, 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 love. But love has two sides. Thank you for being with us on this journey. This is the 41st step in the suit of light. Thank you. And we give a sign at the end. The hand is the sign. Hands are the sign of love because it's a hands-on thing. Love is hands-on. Hands-on. So we give hand signals to each other and we say, love, love, always love. Thank you.